with was the 2v2 matchup in the bot lane. Had a bit of a tough time there in their most recent matchup up against Gen G. And I feel like Effort, his laning was never like a major strength when KT was having that really good run. He was obviously really making an impact in terms of what he could do on the map, but I feel like his laning, he's not the strongest laner in the LCK. And FenRir, another player who's had some great team fighting success, but I'm just, the main focus needs to be getting out of lane as we do get into these pick and bans. Dplus banning Nocturne and Poppy, two of their most banned picks, are just very banned by every team. And then Camille, KT has kind of been maintaining this Camille ban pretty heavily so far. They are going to ban Orianna themselves, though. Denying it away from ShowMaker, but something BD is obviously very proficient on. There's still picks like Vi available. It's actually going to be the Vayne coming out. Perfect did have a lot of success on this pick earlier in the season, and it is a position where he could pick it on 3 before the bans come out, so not wanting him to have that opportunity. Does make me think that Dplus might be just picking that top side in the first rotation.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays it feels like there's a lot of strength in the top lane with more and more picks just piling in, especially when you have players like Perfect and Siwoo. Siwoo, great Ambessa player, Perfect, an excellent Zahan player, so you kind of like add in a bunch of these other picks. Olaf's another one that's entered the meta in the top lane. Vi is going to be the choice here for Lucid.
Yeah, Lucid always been very confident on the Vi. 7 years past, he was the best Vi in the LCK, so we'll bring that one out immediately. And instantly, we get the blind Olaf. First picked as well by Perfect. I mean, this pick has seemed at times very hard to deal with. I do wonder what she was going to try and take into it, try and match it with. We've seen Ambessa sometimes be able to handle it. Okay. Jace is very fickle, and you can just get ran down. All that pick is available. Olaf Ezreal coming through from KT. I imagine Dplus, I think getting a top lane matchup that's favorable for Siwoo is going to be important, or at least one that he can manage okay.
And then that maybe... Vayne ban kind of seems a little wasted now. The fact that they just like insta-locked Olaf. Although I suppose the Vayne could go into that. Lucian and Milio.
Yeah, so this puts a lot of pressure onto Siwoo, who's going to have to face some more bans before he gets to respond to the Olaf. But Lucian and Milio being very popular. Kind of, it dropped off, but then rose back up in priority, especially when teams are heavily playing through the 2v2. And KT are toying with the idea of the Nautilus, but it's a good answer into the Lucian when it comes to team fights. You can obviously keep him accountable, press that ult. Very hard to play with a short-range Lucian against the Nautilus. But the lane is going to be a bit rough. The lane is not going to be a fun time. And you had options that could have made the lane easier. You could have gone Bard, you could have gone Karma. Instead, they go for the Nautilus and kind of allow Dplus to have pressure in that bot lane 2v2 in order to be able to answer the Lucian in team fights. Now, next rotation of bans, are we just going to hammer away at Siwoo's options here? Jace taken out, even though it's a fickle matchup in Olaf. Obviously, one way if you can space correctly and maintain distance, can harass him down. And now for Dplus, there's jungles. You could just take out, the Xin Zhao, Jarvan, still up and available.
Yeah.
Lee Sin, Neferi, there's a lot of options.
Could Jarvan seems good. I think Jarvan's a good ban. Effort loves the Nautilus, by the way, as well. So I think Jarvan part of it as well. Like
into Olaf is just very unfun for the Olaf because he can ult you, cage you, and then flag and drag away. And then you have no one to hit, and you just run out of your ult and become vulnerable again. So makes a lot of sense. I feel like here, Ambessa going for the Syndra, going mid lane instead, taking that one away from ShowMaker. Obviously, very known for that pick.
Yeah, I mean, the Jace ban alone is kind of strange, but we've seen a lot of Jaces fall by the wayside. Perhaps Siwoo has a good read on the matchup, but yeah, there's a lot of different things he can pick. Maybe just go for some kind of bruiser like the Ambessa, like you were talking about, just to match the Olaf in top. And there's still a decent amount of mid lane picks too, although the big 3 have been taken off the board with Orianna, Cass, and Syndra.
There's still Ryze available. Although they could obviously pick an Anivia, but I don't think it really fits Dplus's composition. So they are just going to pick that up for BDD here. And what will we see ShowMaker respond with into that? Taliyah Vi, pretty potent combo. We've seen Taliyah match up pretty well into the Ryze. So it looks like they might just go for that. I'm interested, though, what she was going to take the top lane. Will it just be Ambessa? Are you going to try the Gnaw and hope that you just don't get hit by an axe?
Just dodge.
I think what makes it uncomfortable is that you're playing into a Ryze. You don't know what the jungle pick is going to be. There's definitely potential for them just to focus on you top lane and really make your life hell. That being said,
still available, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, Lee Sin Ryze, super strong.
Yeah.
Looking at Jax, and Jax works pretty well because you have the counter strike. Even if you can't stun him, obviously blocks the auto attacks. You have the leap strike to get away. But it might just end up being the Ambessa.
Yeah. Toying with the Shen, too. Seen more Shen top nowadays, but Ambessa is definitely the go-to for Siwoo.
Yeah, a pick he's been very comfortable on, had some pop-up moments in the past. And now for Cuzz, is it just Lee Sin? Are you going to feel uncomfortable about that into the Taliyah? To be honest, I feel like a lot of the picks right now, looking at Pantheon instead, I mean, this to me just screams she was going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
This is just, we're going to go bot and dive central. You also have the Ezreal Nord in the bot lane. So you can, I mean, you could gank bot, of course, but you're not expecting to have pressure in the bot lane 2v2. Your expectation was we're leaning towards top side, we're playing through top. Whereas for Dplus, do you want to try and match top lane and try and mitigate this pressure on the Ambessa, or are you going to invest resources in the bot lane? I think most people expect them to invest resources in the bot lane, and that kind of just leaves Siwoo on an island. And if Perfect gets ahead this game, it's going to be a tough time.
We've seen some Olafs, when they do fail, you know, they don't have the pressure in the lane, they kind of go even or even fall behind, and then their team is behind, and then they just run into the enemies, and they do a bunch of damage and just die, and it's not really the pressure you want out of a pick like Olaf, but this is an Olaf draft where he's set up for success, and there's two other carries that can kind of just do their own thing, and as long as there's no big mess-ups, they can kind of just win, as I believe these two are K-pop artists, Ha Sung-woon and Park Woo-jin. And they're both in the idol group 101. So if you guys know about them, they're here to watch the games at Lol Park.
Picked a banger.
Lol Park.
Picked a banger to turn up for. And I think this game is going to hinge so heavily on does the Olaf get fed.
It's a big one. At least he's set up for success. Let's see what happens in KT Rolster versus Dplus Kia, game number 1. All right, game number 1 of KT versus DK. This was a very hype matchup at the beginning of the week because these were the two teams that kept on winning until they both lost this week in a 2-0 kind of stompy fashion. I suppose a 0-2 in their perspective. So looking to get right back on the horse for both of them.
You see FenRir go in the exhaust, which has been pretty common into Lucian, but no cleanse from Smash, so that's something that will hold him accountable.
Just dodge the axe. Kind of hard to do that when you're melee. A little bit easier as Gnar.
I think the hope is that, I mean, level 1, you're never going to win. But when you get a few levels behind you, if you can dash and go forward or dodge the axe, and the axe goes behind you, then it's really uncomfortable for Perfect to pick it up.
Yeah. Mid lane, we saw a lot of trading. Feels like ShowMaker is doing pretty well early on, but still a mana, or rather, a regular potion here for BDD, which he just used.
I think classic.
Yeah, I did cast that on Tuesday. And then we did LCK Feud.
Yeah. Spoilers. Oh!
Yep. Oh, that's a very nice hook. Smash kind of just dashing in the direction of the hook. Extra Q hits him.
And this was one of my concerns, is playing to Lucian Milio. Also the fact that Effort and FenRir struggled in lane in the most recent series, kind of got absolutely annihilated by Genji during Rillo in great form. But so far, early levels still, but looking like they're doing pretty okay in a 2v2. I think both of these junglers have the ability to make a lot of impact early. So once they finish that first clear, seeing where they go is really gonna impact the game.
Yeah, for now, just both of them on the bottom side of the map. All summoners available down on the bottom side. Only 3 CS behind is FenRir. So far, it's okay. But if this begins to snowball out of control, we'll see what Smash can do. Obviously, Pays had that gigantic game of Lucian, which really turned a lot of heads. And I'm sure a lot of teams were watching and saying, wow, if our AD carry can play like that, we should play more Lucian. And we've seen a lot more Lucian since.
Seen things move a lot more towards the bot lane focus. Have a reset coming in from Effort. It looks like he's just coming back to bot lane. Try and make sure FenRir can pick up this wave. That's kind of the charm, though, of Ezreal. Why he's been so popular in the current meta is because not only do you have a lot of safety, you're able to farm alone, you're able to pick up minions from a distance with your Mystic Shot, but then does scale well to have the high level of DPS compared to compositions where they've had that mage and kind of just run out of steam into some of the bulkier comps.
Interesting, you were talking about the junglers. We saw Lucid kind of shadow top lane, and Cuzz backed, and now he's gone directly into the jungle of Lucid. A deep control ward there that Lucid is not going to check.
Does he set a trap for him?
Yes.
He does.
And that's a Pantheon with red buff. He's getting a lot of damage into Lucid. This is pretty deep in the enemy jungle, but with a quick rotation over from BDD and Effort in mid, it does look like they want to make a play here.
Effort's started to move down. He's moved back in, though.
Yeah, I mean, Career here as well, just going to kick Cuzz away. He takes a bunch of damage, but he's tanking effectively. Knockback here from ShowMaker. He takes a bunch of damage, but now Cuzz is being run down by Lucid. Cuzz getting very low, but now Lucid has to flash away. Flash on him from Effort, and Career has to flash away. And in goes Cuzz, tries to set up the kill onto Career, and he will be able to do that. First blood goes to BDD.
Little bit precarious there, but in the end, it's KT who come out ahead, and the value of having that Nautilus compared to the Milio, just so much more impactful when you're able to set up that CC. We see Perfect just go for an execute there. I assume he was proxying. Wasn't really paying attention while we looked at the fight. Now, this is dangerous from Lucid. He will back away. He will sense the danger.
Ooh,
and by sense, I mean
flash.
He will see them walking over from mid.
He had flash, but he just didn't quite have enough mana, I think, so.
This puts Cuzz in a pretty good position, getting to secure the enemy Raptors and his own Raptors. See the replay. So I think, honestly, what suffered a bit for, here for KT is they put a lot of damage on the Career, and then Career gets to back off, put his supportive abilities onto Lucid. They go for some aggression onto ShowMaker, but he backs away. A lot of split focus from KT, which is normally pretty bad, but despite that, they're just so much stronger in these early skirmishes, they still come out ahead.
If Career flashes towards mid, I think he lives.
Yeah, I think he was okay.
But he flashed over the wall after he got rooted, a little bit of panic,
he did
perhaps. Flashed over the wall!
Thank you.
I hope Chronicler's in chat.
Yeah. And he'll appreciate that one. Yeah, I think that 3v3 is just so much stronger from KT. The fact it was even close was a little bit just seeing every champion be like, oh, we can kill this one, oh, we can kill this one, oh, we can kill this one. Could have been a fair bit worse for Dplus, I think.
Yeah. So KT enjoying a nice little lead. Obviously, the bot lane is going to be the main issue for them. But eventually, Ezreal gets online. And top lane with the Ambessa feels okay so far. You're pointing at Cuzz hitting level 6, and he's on the top side of the map.
That's a big wave being stacked up as well. BDD has prio mid. This could be an angle to move, but looks like they don't pull the trigger there. Perfect pushes the wave in a little fast. Just got to plate at least. Yeah, that could have maybe been an angle with BDD having prio, able to move, having the ult from the Pantheon, but they call it off instead. And if we look at the lane state in the bot lane, oh, level 6 there for Lucid. BDD, careful. If we look at the lane state bot lane, it's frozen just in front of the tower. So it seems like Cuzz has his eyes on the bot lane. We'll actually push under the tower here, so not going to freeze for a long time. But you can see Smash is going to walk up here. And remember, no cleanse on this Lucian.
Yeah, and no flash on Career too.
No ult on Career as well to get out of the CC. So could be an angle here. We see BDD moving down already. I think FenRir and Smash get the CS and just back away.
Yeah, there's a ward in mid that maybe saw BDD moving over, so they have no reason to really walk up to that turret anyway, but they clear out the wave and play it safe. Can be difficult to lock down the Lucian, even if he doesn't have cleanse. But if BDD comes down as well, should be an easy collection. But they do not commit to it. KT just going to be happy with the one kill they got. The fact that mid's going very well, and they still have an Ezreal, so he can just farm up. Although the calling's going to come in. That's a missed hook. Effort taking a bunch of damage.
That's a lot of pressure. You can see the difference when Lucid is on their side of the map and able to provide cover. Smash immediately goes aggressive and puts a lot of pain down onto FenRir and Effort. And now, Effort's going to recall. FenRir on his own should be able to farm okay as Lucid is more focused on the Dragon. It will be first of the game picked up by Dplus Kia, answered with the grubs in the top side by Cuzz. And so far this game still feels pretty slow so far. There's windows to make things happen, but both teams kind of hesitant to go for it, especially since both mids have the ability to roam.
It's not really much that Siwoo can do in between the turrets. You know, if he's going to go for another execute, he's there to stop the execute from happening potentially. But yeah, I mean, this Olaf is doing well. BDD's doing well in mid. He did pick up the first blood, so that helps out his gold lead a little bit.
I think the game continues this way. KT just having a lead, building it up over time. They're going to feel pretty fantastic. They have the windows to make more happen and find plays, but I think they're in a position where they don't feel pressured to. They have answers to the Lucian and a lot of strong picks when it gets to those later team fights. If this Olaf continues to be ahead of the curve, Dplus don't have great solutions for him.
Yeah, we saw Dplus Kia when they were playing against T1. They got behind very early, very fast in game number 1, and then game 2, they were just kind of... It was a little bit similar. It wasn't as, you know, one play and the game is over style, but they looked a little mental boom, and they got gapped pretty early on, and just ended up being kind of your classic 2-0 feel where the losing team didn't have much of a chance. But this time it feels like, you know, they went for that one play, and that's about it. I mean, they have Taliyah Vi. Maybe they're waiting for their Lucian to pick up one item, and then they're going to do stuff. But for now, they're just kind of sitting around.
Oh, I think they're setting a trap here.
Yeah, well, it's going to run straight into the Lucian. Exhaust comes in. It's a lot of damage in the smash, but he got the jump on them big time. Now Cuzz comes down, trying to help out in the play. Lucid does have his flash. As Milio comes in, BDD comes down here as well, but Career just flashes out of there. They pick up the kill, and they get away.
Dplus feeling pretty good about that. Smash really setting the bait there, hiding in the brush, waiting for the last moment, and then just dashing straight onto them, knowing they didn't have the damage to kill him. I feel like this feels pretty bad for KT because they kind of missed some windows to make plays earlier, and in the end they commit both these roaming ultimates for the mid-jungle just to try and counter this play, and just not succeeding. And ultimately the issue is, both Vi and Lucian are quite mobile, and you have a Milio to get you out of the CC if needed. And they can kind of just walk this out. Freya ends up using it for the healing there, just have to flash away from the dredge line at the end.
Oh, Siwoo got hit by that axe, and now he's going to go in, but this Olaf got the jump, and just like in bot lane, the champ that gets the jump gets the win. This time a solo kill for Perfect, and now flash over the wall to get Lucid away from there. Was not going to be able to vault.
Did what over the wall?
Flash over the wall.
Thank you.
Got to add in a little bit of that chronicler accent as well.
Yeah.
Can't sound like an American.
I think they call that Dutch.
I mean, I don't know. Like, he doesn't have a classic Dutch accent, you know? He's got like a little bit of...
He did live in the UK
British?
for a bit of time.
Yeah.
Bottled water.
A little bit.
There's not much you can do. Like, you ult, it doesn't CC him, it just kind of puts you in deeper. And she would just put out there. Has got the Eclipse now, though, which is a nice spike, but he's 1.2k gold down. I think it feels really bad, specifically in this top lane matchup, if you do fall behind, because you just... at least if you're, I mean, if you're playing the range tops and you fall behind the Olaf, you just get ran down. But at
Yeah.
least you can try and farm from a distance. Siwoo needs to be in the wave, and might just get charged on by Perfect whenever there's a window to do so.
Yeah, not to mention that Perfect just gets a bunch more golds and has a really nice gold lead so that later on when he's got, you know, 2, 3, 4 items, he can effectively burst some of the carries of DK even easier. Like, what does Taliyah do into Olaf?
Right.
just die? Like, just fall over? It's like, yeah, you have a good matchup into the Ryze, sure, and you can match some roams and stuff.
I mean,
we haven't seen any roams.
What's sad about Taliyah into Olaf is one of your abilities literally does nothing to him.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not even like Vile, because Vile at least does damage. You're never going to Vile an Olaf, but at least it does damage to him. But the Taliyah W does absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Your Unraveled Earth, you can't activate it because he can't knock him through it.
Wee bit of damage.
He's not going to dash. A lot of your kit doesn't respond well. You have the wall at least. The wall can be useful if you can wall them off somehow, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they saw the first pick Olaf, and they're like, you know what? Taliyah's got a good matchup in a Ryze, so...
yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel like they had a good response. I don't feel like they were well prepared for the first pick Olaf. Obviously, you know, it's doing very well, so maybe it feels like a little bit of bias for an Olaf that's ahead, but we'll see. As now we have a couple of ults coming down, and here comes the Taliyah to match the Ryze. He hops off the wall early because there's too many people there. And KT just pick up the free kill onto Career.
Team to pull the trigger first ends up favored, and now Dplus is going to be very difficult to retake this space. FenRir is playing the side angle, just getting harassed down. Has Flash and Arcane Shift, so you can't really jump on him. But he will just go over the wall to his team.
Okay, he's doing a bunch of damage to Perfect this time.
Eclipse does help a lot.
Yeah.
That's something I will say.
We got a Cloud Rift, Cloud Soul.
My God. Cloud Soul
For Olaf.
with an Olaf.
Yeah.
It's just not okay.
It's actually kind of unfair.
So in this situation, Smash is very hard to pin down, given that he has, you know, a dash and a flash, and there's the Milio ult. So they kind of just split up and say, look, we'll just let the Milio go. He does ult, removes the root, but just gets stunned immediately afterward.
All right, ShowMaker in the river. He's going to try to flash away from this one. Lucid's there with Career to help out, but the depth charges in on the ShowMaker to stop some damage, and he can't help out Lucid, who will just die. And now ShowMaker doesn't have his flash because he used it. He does get the kill on an effort, funnily enough, but he uses free food for the Olaf, and that's going to be the Rift Herald on top of it all.
Bit of a weird one from Effort. That was a good play overall, but he had both summoners available, and I believe I didn't see him use Locket either, so I think he could have lived that, and then that would have been just a phenomenal play for KT. In the end, he goes down.
Honestly, maybe he just, I mean, the Locket, of course, he should have used, but...
I think Locket and heal would have been weird to save yourself there. I mean, I think Flash, I can understand saving Flash. So if, like, those other two tools were already down, I can understand him not flashing, but I think he would have done well to save himself there.
Smash getting low, getting a couple too many Qs to the face, and he's going to have to barrier and dash away just to survive.
Ezreal the Triforce, a lot of pressure on mid. Perfect getting more plates on the bot side of the map. And he got another kill in that fight earlier, so...
Okay.
Yes, let's send the Taliyah.
ShowMaker is down 2 levels as well.
Yeah.
He could be up 6 levels, and I think he still dies. As now we got Siwoo in a bit of trouble, but he is Ambessa, so he just dashes away a million times.
Effort giving him a little bit of an exit there. So good from Siwoo to get away from that play. Now though, Lucid's actually collapsing in. Does BDD get the recall off in time? Okay, he should get out with this. Good read there to disengage from the situation.
Yeah. Cast it early too, like without full information, just in case Vi is there to stop the Realm Warp.
I feel like Realm Warp is just one of those abilities where you can use it so freely. It's not really, you're not really going to suffer that much from not having it. Obviously, you have to play a bit more defensive when it's down, but just gives so much utility in the side lane.
Yep. That's why the Ryze side lane and farm up.
You remember when you could
specialty is a thing?
Zhonya's in the Realm Warp? That was so broken.
Yeah, they removed that one pretty quickly.
That was a good one to remove.
Yeah.
Honestly, that one was a bit obnoxious. And right now, KT just very aggressively playing for this mid lane tier 1. 3 grubs as well will make it a little bit quicker. And it should just be down now.
Yeah. Remember when Gen G 2-0'd KT, it was just the most classic, slow LCK Gen G style win where they got like 2 kills and it was 25 minutes in and they just kind of had a 5,000 gold lead and the game felt over.
Yeah, I remember
Feels
that.
a little bit like that now, but different. It's not Gen G. TK at least have a dragon. They're not as far behind, but still a lot of control being exerted on the map by KT at the moment.
I think being in this position against KT's composition, Effort should just be able to disengage.
Even threatening a re-engage.
I think, honestly, if Cuzz and BDD had ults, I think they would have gone for it. But they're down, don't have those tools. Probably a big reason why Dplus played that way. But I think as the game goes on, it's just going to get worse and worse for Dplus. The Lucian short range is a big liability into this KT composition. Your Taliyah is behind, your Ambessa is behind. You have pick potential, so I think that's kind of the way back into the game, is if someone from KT oversteps and is out of position. But if you miscalculate, if you go aggressive onto, say, FenRir, and he disengages and then suddenly Perfect appears behind you, it's just game over.
Yeah. GG for that team fight and GG for the game. And it's pretty interesting. I mean, I think I've vocalized pretty well that I'm not a big fan of the DK draft, especially the Taliyah. But I feel like they had such a good read on the meta, especially at the end of EWC. I think it really helped them win that tournament. And then coming into the first week of round 3, they looked good in terms of their drafting. But I feel like their drafts against T1 as well were a bit weak. And T1's drafting always raises eyebrows, I feel like. So, not sure what went wrong in terms of their read. But now KT's going to take a Cloud Drake.
Dplus in response will get that tower top lane for Siwoo, so it's something at least answered back. Now trying to put pressure on this mid lane tower.
Yeah, FenRir's just clearing the wave, I guess. Locket comes out. Tanking it up. They cleared a little bit of the wave, but Smash gonna dash forward to try to chip away at that turret. Doesn't take it down. And meanwhile, BDD's bot. So at the end of the day, yeah, they got the top turret, but it's matched in the bottom lane after the dragon is taken.
These long lanes opening up as well. I think Perfect and BDD are very happy about that. Herald comes down mid, looking for a charge in the tier 2. ShowMaker could block this with his Weaver's Wall. Or just get in front of it.
Or they just waste Shelly. Just say, see you later, nerd.
You know what?
Goodbye.
Not the best Rift Herald usage, I'm not gonna lie. That was kind of just so, let's just throw it down. See what it can do. The answer? Not much.
Because it's like, yeah, this is going to time out soon. I'm just going to drop it here.
Whatever. Honestly,
I don't know.
It would have been better to let it time out and deny them the gold.
Yeah. Quite literally. I mean, you could try to make an argument that, like, hey, they had to group up mid just in case there was a... Nothing else was really happening, so... In this case, just deny them the gold, I'd say, or use it better.
Whoa, use it better? That's a suggestion.
Is that a little bit toxic?
A little bit.
I feel like nothing's happening in this game, so I'm getting a little anxious. I'm like, something should be happening.
It is KT and Dplus playing, so... We do have FenRir picking up the Mirror Mana fully stacked, so he's in a really strong position on this Ezreal. BDD needs a little bit more time to get the Actualizer and level 16. 1 stack away on the Rod of Ages, so he's not far from that. I wouldn't fault KT just for waiting, just for playing it slow. Yeah. There's the Rod of Ages. 1 more level, and finishing that completed item for BDD, and he's just the strongest champion in the game, so why rush it? And for Dplus, the issue you're kind of having is, who can you get an easy pick on? Because, you know, they try to put pressure on a BDD, but he's playing quite defensively. He has the Realm Warp. Perfect, obviously not. Cuzz and Effort both have ways of stalling. Effort has Aftershock, Locket, Celestial Opposition. Cuzz has his Aegis, Thunder Sky. And if you miscalculate, the game is just over. So I think they do need picks to get back into the game, but we're just not seeing them find angles to get it. And as a result, the game has felt very slow because there's no pressure on KT to speed this game up.
Yep, KT sitting back, farming, doing the old Genji style. And DK are like, well, we can't do anything. And KT aren't giving them ins either. You know, like the one person you didn't mention as a guy who can get out easily is BDD, because especially with CC, if he's alone, you probably can kill him if he doesn't kill you first before his actualizer is built at least. So he could be the target. They're going to go for Effort instead. There's the Aftershock buying a lot of time. He's very tanky. And now Smash gets exhausted, has to run away, flash over the wall once again. And that'll be Lucid just left as the sacrifice. They tried, and they failed.
And now with jungler down, they can look for this on the Baron. It is Terry, not the most threatening Huni Baron.
Yeah. He is very threatening.
He is very scary. And Dplus are trying to contest this, but Perfect is behind them. If they miscalculate here, they'll lose the Baron and so much more. And you can see they move away, they back off, they don't want to risk it.
Yeah, they're trying to turn on to Perfect, or at least Siwoo is. And Perfect just
holds the ult.
Doesn't do anything.
Important to note, Perfect's TP way longer cooldown than Siwoo's.
Yeah.
Because he's got the top lane quest TP, so I think trading the TPs there, that small aspect of this was good, but obviously this is overwhelmingly a bad situation for Dplus. They're going to look for Effort. Effort's like, you know what, we've been sitting around for long enough, let's just go for a play. Go for the engage here, and they end up getting a stun on a Smash who has to commit his flash and the Milio ult to get away, but then they just turn onto Lucid and kill him, and jungler down makes it so easy.
It's okay, Aux, because the Taliyah matched the Ryze and put a wall down and hopped off on the red buff and ran away.
Yes.
I think he didn't do any damage.
BDD is almost going to be 3 levels up on ShowMaker, by the way. He's 50 CS up. He's about to hit level 17, and ShowMaker has just hit level 14.
Yeah.
I know Rod of Ages contributed one of those levels, but still.
It's 1 out of 3.
He also has Actualizer.
Yeah.
And there is no one... I mean, even tanks get nuked by Ryze with Actualizer. But they don't have any tanks.
Yeah.
Ryze, if he actualizes and then just puts a combo in, it's just boom. It's just over.
Yeah. And if you look at the golds, you might say, hey, this looks kind of like a close game. It's not. Maybe we see something here. ShowMaker has to hop off early, and now they're just going to go in with the wall for protection, but they go in on the Effort, flash away from BDD. He does so much damage before he doesn't even go down, and the rest of the team just cleans up as ShowMaker trying to flash away from Olaf. It's really funny. Eventually, he does actually get away, but it's still a one fight here for KT.
Cuzz has ult as well. They can maybe dive ShowMaker here if he stays too far up. As a result, he has to back so far up, play to the Nexus towers. And KT getting a big fight win and taking down this inhibitor tower here. Perfect should be able to pick up his bot tier 2 as well. I think he has time for it.
Yeah, that was a fight against Baron, so if you lose it, it's even more damning.
The attack speed, did that help? He's just going.
Yeah. Lucid's like, I will stop you. No, he won't. 5,000 assists for BDD, mid-seconds. As this is the total assists leaderboard. Obviously, Faker's first for mids.
Yeah. So here, they go for BDD, but some of the CC actually gets buffered. So because of the ult from the Ambessa, he doesn't get shoved back in. And then he just presses all his buttons and just nukes Siwoo. Does a ton of damage to Lucid. And the thing is, if they'd killed him, I don't think the fight is won by any means. But at least you have a fighting chance. The fact that he gets to live and just put so much damage out.
Oh, God. He actually is going to dash away. He still takes an insane amount of damage. We've talked a lot about the Olaf. We've talked about the Ryze spikes and stuff. You mentioned the Muramana and the spike for Ezreal, but you know, you can really feel it in a small skirmish like that, just how strong he is.
Look how much ability haste he has. He's got the Endless Hunger and dual-wield Fairy in the Bottle.
double Na'Vi, is that okay?
Just maximizing the ability haste.
All right, they're just going to try something here. They get in onto FenRir, and, well, that ult's not going to connect. Knockback does nothing, and here comes Perfect as he presses R and runs straight at the enemy. He's got a little bit of help here from Cuzz and KT. They've been in the lead for a long time. Triple knock-up is gigantic, and that'll be the end of this game as they ace them and will look to go down mid.
That's game for you. BDD's so strong right now, but the rest of the team backing him up, just running down Dplus, and he just didn't even look close. This game is a bit of a slow burn built up over time, but the hopes of Dplus just dwindled as the clock kept ticking. And you know, I talked about it before the series. If you have a bad loss against KT, and you know you have Monday, Tuesday, and then you're playing them again, currently, Dplus have already a big gap